Hey everyone, it's me, George, with Japanese from Zero, and we're going to talk a little bit about racism in Japan. There's a comment that caught my attention. It is from Kanji 101. He says, George, I just saw a post online by a white guy who's lived in Japan for 5 years, and he's fluent in the language, etc., but gets upset when he sees signs that say, sorry, Japanese only, or we only serve Japanese. Before I started learning, and I've committed and studied daily for 2 years now, I got a tattoo, and that locks me out of some things also. This sort of thing really bums me out because at times I have made great efforts to learn the language and about the culture, and I have even trained in karate for 15 years. Does this sort of thing upset you? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Out possible advice or possible advice, if any, I assume, is what you meant. I really love the language and anime and many more things about Japan and the culture, but it really upsets me when discrimination and blatant racism is excused as culture. Just had a bit of an argument with my girlfriend about this, as it really upset me that she excuses it too. You're not going to like my answer because I'm probably going to end up sounding like I'm excusing it too, but let me open up with the biggest thought I have on this entire thing. Number one, it's rare. It's not as common as you would think. Is it a problem? Yes. It's also not against the law in Japan, as far as I know, unless that's changed in recent times. I saw there's a foreigner that lives in Japan and his entire thing is trying to get Japan to make laws against racism, but it just doesn't exist. So they can exclude people from their stores with signs that say serving only Japanese. I have personally experienced racism in Japan when I was younger, maybe 18, 19 or so. I drove up to a city called Hachinohe, and there was a club that we were all heading to, and the club next to it was called, I think, Paseidu or something like that. And it had a sign that said, no foreigners allowed. And I actually said, oh no, I'm Japanese, let me in Japanese, in a funny way, knowing I wasn't going to get in. And they didn't let me in. No matter what I said, they would not let me in. But let me tell you what, I 100% understand why. And I want you to really come from a perspective of a Japanese person to understand this, okay? The people in this area are mostly primarily young military men and high school students that are American. And in this area, people don't speak English. What would happen is you would have these American military guys go into the place, get drunk, and have a fight, which, by the way, Japanese people don't normally do. They normally aren't having these aggressive fights in a foreign language that can't be handled easily. So it made sense to me that a bar very close or a club very close to the base, matter of fact, all of the bars on this one street that used to be outside the main gate in Misawa, many of them said no foreigners allowed right outside the gate, which, by the way, like I said, makes the most sense because those are the worst people going into those bars and getting drunk and then fighting and breaking things and throwing chairs and smashing things. I also would bar Japanese people in my American establishment if they were the ones always doing that. Does that make sense? Now, that being said, it's still not right to, bar someone just based on their nationality. I mean, that's pure blatant racism. But I want you to understand that it might not even be that they're against you. Maybe they had Chinese people in there that were causing an issue. And then maybe another time they had Czechoslovakian. Is that even a country anymore? They had Russian people in there that were causing a problem. I know that areas near the port of Hachinohe had those signs up too, because there was a lot of Russians coming in. And they would come in and get drunk and be like, whoa, whatever Russian sounds like, okay? And they would destroy the place, or they would be loud. And what can you do as a Japanese native who doesn't speak any Russian? And you grew up in a country with foreigners not interacting with you. I know it's wrong. I'm going to say that a billion times. It is wrong. But it's wrong from our perspective because we grow up in a tolerant society. Very, very tolerant. We are taught from an early age. It is brainwashed into us that we are all equal and that people are different and different is not wrong. It's okay. But in Japan, they grow up in the society where you all want to be homogenous. It's one for all. Not like America where it's like, I'm the most important thing and everything I do is more important than what you do. In Japan, it's like, I am sorry for upsetting the group. And that's what Americans and foreigners would do. They would go into these establishments. It only takes one, maybe two. And then all of a sudden it's like, screw this. I don't want to deal with this. No foreigners allowed. It's not against the law. Now, is it a big deal? No. I've so not seen it almost ever. I mean, maybe that one time. And I've had blatant racism against me. Someone one time in my entire almost 40-year history in Japan has been very racist to me. It was some man in a convenience store. I remember it like it was yesterday because it was so rare. This old man in the convenience store was behind me when I was in line at the register, and my friend Chris was in the back getting drinks, and he asked me what I want. Hey, what do you want to get to drink? And I said, I don't know, like a Coke would be good. All in English. And he said something like, Nihon ni iru nara nihongo de hanase. You know, if you're in Japan, speak Japanese. I, of course, understood him. And then I told the guy at the register, I said, because he was bald, and I said, Hageta hito te shitsurei desu yo ne? I said, bald people are really weird, aren't they? 外国人の前では英語で喋ってほしいですよね. It would really be nice if they spoke English in front of foreigners, is what I said. Okay. So very, very rare experience. I just have not experienced it. There are times, weirdly, let's keep going here. There was one time where I got reverse discriminated against when I was looking for an apartment in the area surrounding the base. I wanted to live somewhere in Misawa. So I went ahead and called places where they had apartments for rent signs. I called up and I said, moshi moshi, whatever the name of the apartment was, アパートを探してるんですけども、できたら 1LDK のアパート借りたいんですが. And he said, I'm sorry, we don't rent to Japanese people. I said, no, but, いや、私アメリカ人なんですけど. He's like, yeah. He didn't believe me. The guy literally hung up on me. He thought I was, and this isn't me trying to brag, oh, my Japanese is good. This is a story that I tell to show that sometimes your Japanese on the phone is really, really good because they don't see your face. They see your face, your Japanese isn't as good. Without your face, it's great. But I got reverse discriminated because I wasn't an American in that area. Does that make sense? So it happens. Now, America doesn't have that level of blatant racism, right? But we definitely have racism. We do. It exists. Here's what I really want to say, though. Number one, it's super rare. And number two, if you come across a place that has that on there, find another place. Don't even let it upset you. You wouldn't want to go in that place because the guy that runs it is a piece of ungo. Do you really, really, really want to fight to go into a place that they don't want you? I had more racism in Korea than I had in Japan, for the record. And it upset me like you wouldn't believe. Like I was angry. But then I realized, oh yeah, other places are okay. I can just go to another place. 99% of places, more than 99% of places are going to welcome you in. They want your money just like every other place. Even places where you wouldn't think foreigners would be welcome will welcome you. All right? I'm talking about girl bars. Check them out. They're really fun. Cute girls behind the bar talking to you in Japanese. Someone also mentioned that in a comment, so it's in my mind. All right. Let me see if there's anything else that I missed here. Your tattoo, that's unfortunate. Look, I can't go in the past. I can't change what you did. If you guys love Japan and you really want to experience every part of Japan, don't get a tattoo. Don't get it. Is there anything so important that you need that until the end of your life? Just wait until after Japan. If there's anything that important, like, you know, your kid died and you want to memorialize his name. I get it. But do you really need a big, you know, butterfly on your back that prevents you from going to all of the hot springs? And a lot of places, if they see that tattoo, you're not welcome. That, by the way, is interesting. Think about that. Is that racism? Japanese don't let people in their own country have a tattoo go in places because of Yakuza, because of the Japanese mafia. The people that are generally associated with tattoos were these criminals. So one way to prevent them from being in your establishment was just say, hey, no tattoos. That's not against the law either. Why would racism be against the law? It's the same type of feeling, right? Oh, you committed a crime before? You can't come in my place. Oh, you wanted skin art on your body? Oh, you can't come in. Oh, even though you're a foreigner and you're definitely not part of the Japanese Yakuza, you can't come into my place. It's dumb. But there are signs even today, it even says specifically, even a 1 centimeter tattoo, we will not allow you into our onsen, into our hot springs. Now, what a lot of people do is they put like a Band-Aid on there or something like that, and they kind of get away with it. And I have been into hot springs where they have that rule, but there was like 4 or 5 very Yakuza looking people in that place. And of course, what am I going to do? Am I going to yell at them and say, hey, you can't be in here? They'll just like stab me or something. So I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm not talking to those guys. They're scary. But you got the tattoo. What are you going to do? What you can do is just rent a private onsen room. They exist. Just do one of those instead of going to the public bath. And there are places more and more that allow tattoos again. So you'll just have to kind of research tattoo-friendly places, but they do exist. Japan is trying to change. But also, look, don't have a fight with your girlfriend about this sort of thing. Don't. It's like if you believed in God and she doesn't believe in God and she yelled at you for believing in God. It's just a different mindset. You can just tell her how you feel, but you don't need to get into an argument about it, okay? Blatant racism, I agree, shouldn't be as excused as culture, but it is what it is. You're not going to change it in your lifetime unless, look, even the guy that's crusading against it is having a hard time. He's not getting anywhere. It's not going to happen, right? One more thing while we're talking about these type of things in Japan. It's the same thing with gay people. It's the same thing with lesbian, with anyone that's not standard normal. I have a gay friend in Japan that hasn't come out. He's come out in America. His family knows. Everyone else knows. No one else knows. He can't come out. He would lose his job. Okay? Real handsome guy would lose his job because he's gay. It's okay that he doesn't, have a girlfriend or he isn't married, but he can't be gay. Okay? The Japanese Supreme Court ruled that if you want to call yourself a female, if you want to be transgender, if you want to identify as a woman, you have to remove all the parts of your body that make you a man. Same way the other way. If you want to be trans man, you have to remove your womb and get the surgery and everything. There's no, I feel like it and you can do it. So America is a very progressive country in that sense. Japan, not as progressive. So that's just what you deal with. All right, that's it. See you guys later.